Gentlemen, ever found yourself scratching your head, utterly bewildered by the enigmatic world of women? You're not alone. For generations, men have been convinced that the path to a woman's heart is paved with lavish displays, chiseled physiques, or an alpha male swagger. But what if I told you that much of what you think women want is, frankly, a massive misconception? Prepare to have your perceptions delightfully shattered as we dive into the surprising truth about what women actually desire, moving beyond the superficial and into the depths of their psychology. 1. Beyond the bank account. Stable ambition, not just wealth. Many men operate under the illusion that vast sums of money are the ultimate key to attracting women. You've likely heard the tired refrain, "All you really need is to be rich, and you'll get all the women." But let's get real, that's just not true. This often serves as a convenient boogeyman or an excuse for guys who find themselves striking out in the dating game. The notion that if only I had money, I'd get a lot more women is a common self-deception. In reality, women aren't demanding a billionaire. They simply want you to be productive and have a job. They seek a man who has the ability to be a provider, which certainly doesn't require millions of bucks. Think about it. If you don't have a job, you probably shouldn't even be dating in the first place, right? The core expectation is to have a job, be productive, earn money, and crucially, use it in a smart way. This foundational stability and foresight are far more appealing than an overflowing vault. It speaks volumes about your responsibility and ability to contribute to a shared future. A man who is able to wisely manage his finances signals a maturity and practical sense that is highly valued, suggesting he can navigate life's challenges and build a secure foundation for a partnership. Beyond mere employment, women are deeply attracted to men who possess a purposeful life. This isn't about chasing abstract dreams without a plan, but rather demonstrating ambition and passion. Women are drawn to men who have clear goals and pursue them with determination. This drive signals inherent stability, resilience, and a man who is actively building something rather than just existing. Don't be afraid to openly share your passions and aspirations. It's a powerful way to stand out. It shows you're a man with direction, a future-oriented partner, not just someone drifting aimlessly. This kind of determination indicates a reliable and consistent character, which fosters a sense of security that is far more appealing than arbitrary riches. Similarly, women don't care much about a man's professional titles or accomplishments, like what school he went to, how many degrees he's racked up, or how fast he climbed the corporate ladder to vice president. While those personal accomplishments are great for you, her interest lies in knowing that you are fundamentally productive and goal-oriented. And here's a tip: subtlety always works better. If you've achieved a lot in life, it will organically become obvious. You won't need to shout it from the rooftops. In fact, being a braggart or arrogant is a surefire way to turn a lady off. Confidence in your achievements is healthy, but incessant boasting about them is not. Women appreciate the quiet strength of a man who lets his actions speak louder than his words, showing he's well-rounded and grounded, not just a walking resume. This demonstrates a humility that makes him approachable and genuinely attractive, rather than seeming self-absorbed or desperate for validation. 2. Looks that last. Authenticity and grooming over movie star perfection. Let's dismantle another popular male myth that women require their partners to possess movie star good looks or an Adonis-like physique. Guys often spend endless hours in the gym aiming for a super shredded look, or agonize over their facial symmetry, believing this is the ultimate key to female attraction. But here's some tough love. If you're hitting the gym 3 or 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, you might just be veering into vanity, which frankly is a turn-off. An extreme physique can also be intimidating and off-putting to many women, who might feel pressured to match that level of physical perfection themselves. If you're constantly checking for your own perceived flaws, Do you honestly think she won't assume you'll be scrutinizing hers? The intense focus on one's own physical appearance can also signal an underlying insecurity, making a man seem less confident than he intends. Now, don't get it twisted. She doesn't want you to be a fat slob either. They appreciate a man who is in decent shape and has some muscle tone. But a 4% body fat percentage? That's more likely to make her less interested, not more. Lucky for men, women are generally not as superficial as we tend to be when it comes to looks. They don't expect you to look like Shrek, but you also don't have to be a former model. Their standards for physical appearance are often far more realistic and holistic than men imagine. What truly matters is that you make the best of what you have. This translates into a well-groomed appearance. Women notice clean nails, fresh breath, and well-fitted clothing far more than they do designer brands or a chiseled jawline. It signals self-care and respect not just for yourself, but for others. Investing in a good skincare routine and maintaining a sharp but simple wardrobe goes a long way. This commitment to personal hygiene and presentation communicates that you care about yourself and, by extension, about how you present yourself to her. This applies to your hair too. Women don't care as much as you think about how much hair you have or if it's showing a little gray. What they care about is that the hair you do have is well-groomed and maintained. If you're follically challenged, don't hide it under hats all the time, as that just draws attention to your insecurities. Keep your hair neat, whether it's full, receding, or gray. This well-kept presentation is far more attractive than chasing an unrealistic ideal. While a strong jawline and symmetry are evolutionarily seen as indicators of good health and strong genetics, these are not universal requirements. Ultimately, confidence in your appearance and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, along with good posture, ultimately enhance your overall attractiveness and energy. It's about radiating self-acceptance and vitality, not flawless features. 3. The power of presence, listening and understanding. Her true voice. Here's a common scenario that trips up many men. You ask a woman how she is, and she says, "Fine," but her eyes tell a different story. Or she declares, "I don't want a gift," but her subtle sigh suggests otherwise. The misconception here is that women's words are always literal. The truth is, her words and expressions often contradict her true thoughts. Women are not difficult to understand because they're sunny in the morning, stormy by noon, and lonely by night. It's just how their psychology operates. They might be protecting themselves, feeling you out, or trying to avoid awkwardness. To decode this secret language, you need to tune in and listen, not just to her words, but to her tone, timing, and consistency. When she says no with a slightly whiny, soft tone and a loving gaze, she might actually mean yes. This is her little cat psychology at play, wanting to be pampered and understood. Paying attention to these nonverbal cues is essential to accurately gauge what she's truly thinking and feeling. It means being fully present and engaged, helping her sort out whatever is on her mind, which, as one woman put it, makes her heart melt like butter. Communication isn't just about what she says, but also about what you hear and how you respond. For instance, if she says, "I'm really busy this week," and then suggests an alternative time, she's genuinely busy and still interested. But if she says it and offers no alternative, that's her polite way of backing out because she's not interested. The key takeaway? Don't chase. If she's truly excited about you, she will make it clear. Women don't forget guys that they're excited about. Similarly, phrases like, "Let's just see where this goes," or "I'm just going with the flow," sound casual, but they often mask uncertainty. She might be interested but wants to take things slow, or she might be keeping her options open. Pay close attention to her actions. Is she engaging? Is she making time for you? Or is she only communicating when she needs something? Don't get stuck in this vague territory for too long. It's okay to guide the pace, but don't pressure her to label something too early. And if she tells you, "I'm bad at texting," understand that no one is too busy to reply to someone they are genuinely excited about. This often means, "I'm not that invested in you, but I still want to keep you around," or it's a disclaimer for her inconsistent communication. Take the hint. You deserve consistent communication from someone just as eager to talk to you. The most common reason for inconsistent communication is a lack of investment. Finally, a man who talks too much can be a turn-off. Women generally seek a mature man who knows how to listen and understand. If they have a tendency to be whiny or childish with their loved ones, they need a partner who can understand and indulge that side of their psychology, which typically isn't found in overly verbose men. During the early stages of getting to know someone, it's wise to hold back your chatter. Once the relationship is established, you can certainly be your authentic self, but initially, demonstrating a capacity for attentive listening is paramount. This creates a space for her to share and feel truly heard, fostering a deeper connection. 4. Heartfelt gestures, small acts of kindness and chivalry, not grandstanding. Men often mistakenly believe that grand performative gestures or a bad boy persona are what women truly desire. You might see guys trying to act like a thug or an obnoxious no-good guy, thinking it will attract women. But this is often just another excuse from men who aren't successful with women, claiming, "I'm a nice guy, why don't ladies like me?" The reality is, what women actually find attractive in a bad boy type is typically their confidence, masculinity, and take-charge attitude, not their problematic behavior. Women are drawn to genuine qualities like kindness and empathy, which are consistently ranked as highly sought-after traits in a partner. Empathy, in particular, demonstrates emotional intelligence and the capacity to connect on a deeper level, which is incredibly appealing. Small acts of kindness, whether it's helping someone in need or simply showing thoughtfulness, speak volumes. In fact, research suggests that for women seeking a long-term relationship, altruism is more attractive than good looks. This indicates a woman's biological programming to gravitate towards partners who can protect and provide for them, not just physically, but emotionally. Even though many modern women are perfectly capable of taking care of themselves, they profoundly value a man's ability to respond to the needs of others. This provides a deep sense of safety that is critical for her to truly open up and connect with you. It's about being a good person, someone who is kind to their parents and goes out of their way to help people without expecting anything in return. This consistent display of benevolence shows a man's true character and his potential as a caring partner. And while modern dating norms have evolved, chivalry is far from dead. Small gestures of courtesy, like holding a door open, pulling out her chair, walking her around puddles, or offering your jacket, are still widely appreciated. These actions convey respect, thoughtfulness, and attentiveness, qualities women actively seek in a partner. It's about being truly present and caring in the moment. These small efforts take very little time, but show you are polite and sensitive to her needs, which goes a very long way, even with highly independent women. The emphasis is on genuine thoughtfulness rather than showy, performative acts. It's the consistency of these considerate details, the little things like bringing her coffee or rubbing her neck, that stoke the fire of romance and make her heart melt like butter, far more than any fleeting bad boy allure. Remember, women are also prone to thinking, "I am invisible when I am not around," if their partners don't show enough engagement and thoughtfulness. As one husband lamented about his wife, this highlights the importance of consistent, small, thoughtful gestures that indicate she's on your mind. 5. Emotional intelligence, vulnerability, and stability, not robotic stoicism. There's a persistent myth perpetuated by some online pundits that men need to embody an ideal alpha male, someone cold, unfeeling, and super aggressive. The blunt truth? Most of those guys don't get women. This rigid, stiff, unfeeling persona is unrealistic, and women don't expect it. Nobody wants a crybaby for a man, but the idea that men are emotionless robots is simply false. And it's okay to show emotion from time to time. The key here is from time to time, indicating a measured and appropriate display of feelings, not an overwhelming or constant outpouring. In fact, showing some vulnerability is often more attractive. It signals a man's comfort with his own emotions and a willingness to connect authentically. It shows strength and self-awareness rather than weakness. If you're hell-bent on being a super alpha guy, you're far more likely to impress other internet commentators than a woman you're trying to date. Emotional stability is paramount. Women are drawn to men who display emotional maturity and self-control. This means being able to navigate tough situations calmly and handle emotions effectively. When someone cuts you off in traffic, for instance, practicing mindfulness and communication, instead of unleashing a torrent of colorful language, tells her you are reliable and safe. This calm demeanor in stressful situations demonstrates that you are a steady and dependable partner, someone she can rely on when things get tough. How you handle others is a powerful indicator of how you'll handle yourself in personal relationships. Being respectful and calm in challenging situations signals that you are someone who can be depended upon. Women are constantly assessing partners based on their potential to become an equal partner in a relationship, and they certainly don't want to see a spoiled child. They desire a man who can open up and share his heart with her, telling her how he's feeling. This act of genuine emotional sharing can be like turning on a powerful magnet that attracts me to him. As one woman described it, this allows for a deeper, more intimate bond, built on trust and mutual understanding. The ability to be vulnerable, combined with emotional control, shows a healthy balance. It demonstrates that you are a human being with depth and feeling, rather than a caricature of masculinity. It's about being strong enough to be gentle, to express your inner world, and to be a rock without being emotionally rigid. This nuanced emotional intelligence creates a deep sense of safety and intimacy that a purely alpha facade can never achieve, proving that true strength lies in authentic emotional connection. Point 6. Reliable journeys, practicality in transport, not showy status symbols. Another common male excuse for dating difficulties revolves around transportation. I would get more women if I had a fancy car. The fantasy persists that only guys with Ferraris, Porsches, and Maseratis have the ladies. Let's call a spade a spade. This is simply not true. Consider this. If the top 1% of guys with fancy cars attract, say, 5% of all women, what's your excuse for not being able to attract the remaining 95%? The math just doesn't add up to support the luxury car theory, proving it's a flimsy excuse for a lack of success. Putting aside these extravagant notions, what most women actually want is reliable transportation that's clean. They want you to be able to pick them up and take them out on a date. You absolutely do not have to have a $300,000 car. A clean, reliable car is perfectly sufficient. The fanciest car? Not necessary at all. This simple, clear preference cuts through the noise of materialistic expectations. This preference speaks to a woman's desire for practicality and dependability in a partner. A man who owns a reliable, well-maintained vehicle demonstrates responsibility, foresight, and a certain level of stability. It suggests he's got his life together enough to manage basic needs and can ensure safe and convenient outings. A flashy, impractical car, on the other hand, might signal impulsiveness, a need for external validation, or even financial instability disguised as wealth. Such a choice could imply that a man prioritizes superficial impressions over long-term stability and common sense. The goal isn't to impress with exorbitant possessions, but to provide a sense of ease and confidence that you can manage the practical aspects of life and transportation without drama. She wants to know you can get her where she needs to go, safely and comfortably, not that you can break the sound barrier on the freeway. It's about being grounded and functional, not ostentatious. Point 7. Height of confidence. Inner security trumps inches. For many men, height is a significant source of insecurity in the dating world. They often believe women care disproportionately about a man being tall, perhaps even taller than they actually are. But here's the reality check. The average guy in America is only about 5'9" to 5'9". 5. This average might even be taller than many men realize, leading to unnecessary anxiety. While it's true that women generally tend to prefer men who are taller than them, you certainly don't have to be 6'5". The average American woman is only about 5'3" or 5'4". Most of the time, they are simply looking for a guy who is a couple of inches taller than them. This modest preference is far from the towering ideal some men imagine. Being extremely short might slightly lessen your dating pool, but not as much as you think it is. They definitely don't need you to be 6'7" like you might imagine, a height that is statistically rare for men anyway. The real problem arises not from a man's actual height, but from how he wears his height, or lack thereof, on his sleeve. If a man carries his height insecurity outwardly, it often translates into a lack of confidence or general insecurity. And that is the real turn-off. A man who is constantly self-conscious about his height, or who tries to compensate for it in awkward ways, projects an image of unease and self-doubt. This underlying insecurity is far more detrimental to attraction than a few inches either way. It suggests that he is not comfortable with himself, which makes it difficult for a woman to feel comfortable with him. Women are attracted to confidence, and true confidence stems from inner security, not physical dimensions. A man who is comfortable in his own skin, regardless of his height, will naturally exude an attractive aura. He focuses on his strengths and embraces his flaws, understanding that authenticity is the foundation of true confidence. So instead of worrying about adding inches, focus on building your self-assurance. Stand tall in your convictions, not just your footwear, and women will be much more inclined to look up to you, no matter your literal stature. The confident man draws attention to his overall presence, not just a single physical attribute. 8. The unseen burden. Her constant mental load, not just you. Now this is where many men might need a reality check. You might assume your wife or girlfriend spends a good portion of her day thinking about you, missing you, or planning romantic moments. But prepare for a dose of truth. If she's happy with you, she likely doesn't think about you much during the course of her day at all. If she is happy, she might send a funny or cute text, or perhaps feel content if she hears about a husband worse than you. But that's generally the extent of it. As one candid psychologist put it, a happy marriage is like air. You only think about it when you don't have enough of it. This perspective is crucial for men to grasp, as it reframes the typical male expectation of constant adoration. Conversely, if she is unhappy or unfulfilled in the relationship, then yes, she thinks about you and the marriage pretty much all the time, and is consumed by anxiety, anger, and sadness. So the less she's obsessing over you, the better, really. This reveals that her thoughts about you are often a barometer of the relationship's health, rather than a measure of her innate affection when things are going smoothly. What women actually think about, constantly and overwhelmingly, is a parade of other things that rarely cross a man's mind with the same intensity. This is her unseen mental load, a continuous internal monologue that shapes her daily experience. Her body. She worries about her weight, looking old, thinning hair, how her body looks after nursing, and what size clothes to buy. She thinks about when and how she'll work out next, and feel immense guilt when she doesn't. Multiply how often she verbalizes negative thoughts about her body by 1,000,000, and you'll get a rough estimate of how often these thoughts actually cross her mind. These body image concerns are deeply ingrained and pervasive. Food or drink. If she struggles with moderation, these thoughts can consume her approximately every 1 to 2 minutes. It's a continuous internal monologue about calories, snacking, meal timing, and whether she has a problem with consumption. Many women experience subclinical levels of eating disorders or substance use issues, making these thoughts incredibly pervasive and a source of constant mental effort. The kids. This is not an exaggeration. She thinks about the kids 24/7. This often starts with her first pregnancy and continues after birth. Her children are a constant backdrop to everything she does. From practicalities like packing lunches to higher-level concerns, like hoping they're learning positive things from her, these thoughts are relentless. She likely thinks about the kids getting older and tearing up over baby photos, 100 times more than you suspect. This immense mental investment in children often goes unnoticed by male partners. Guilt. Unfortunately, women experience higher rates of depression and anxiety, often accompanied by elevated feelings of guilt. Your wife probably feels guilty about something every single minute. If there's no immediate pressing issue, she'll feel guilty about yelling at the kids or letting them have too much screen time. Guilt about the kids alone can occur approximately 300 times a day on a slow day. This pervasive guilt can be an exhausting emotional burden. Her family. She frequently thinks about her family of origin, even if estranged. Her relationship with her mother, in particular, is a frequent topic of internal debate, especially if it's conflictual. She thinks about when she'll next see her family, if she's being a good daughter or sister, and whose birthday is coming up. She also considers when her kids will next see their cousins, and worry if she's messing up her kids in the same way she feels her parents messed her up. This constant familial consideration often involves managing complex emotional dynamics. In-laws. Whether she loves or loathes your family, she thinks about them about 100 times more than you do. These thoughts range from wondering if you're selfish because your mom coddled you, to whether your mom actually likes her, to planning or avoiding future visits, and whether your sisters are judging her. The scary part? You probably only hear about 10% of what she actually thinks about your family. This hidden mental labor related to your extended family is a significant, yet often invisible, part of her day. Her career. If she works outside the home, her career and its future occupy a significant portion of her thoughts. She considers whether it's fulfilling, if it's making a difference, and what her clients, students, patients, customers, or coworkers think of her. Especially if she's an anxious person, she'll worry about whether she's doing a good job or if people secretly believe she sucks. The pursuit of professional recognition and concern for her performance is a constant internal dialogue. Friends. Women place immense importance on their friendships. They dedicate significant thought to staying connected, remembering life events, inquiring about friends' kids, and planning calls or get-togethers. Being considered a good friend is a huge source of self-esteem, and sharing feelings with friends provides immense comfort. While men rarely think about their friends' marriages or kids, women do so constantly. They also inevitably compare their own lives, husbands, careers, kids, looks, and homes to those of their friends, for better or worse. This social comparison and maintenance of friendships is a continuous process. What's strikingly absent from this extensive list? Sex. A woman in a long-term monogamous relationship typically thinks about sex approximately twice, when she is actually having it and possibly when she is ovulating. So if your wife does text you about sex or expresses a desire for it later, it's most likely due to ovulation, or because you've been exceptionally sweet and helpful, or she's consciously trying to be a rock star wife. Perhaps she's read some helpful articles, or she's trying to conceive. It is almost certainly not because she's just so horny sitting here at her job that she needs your body right now. This should be reassuring for men who feel shortchanged by the lack of frequent, spontaneous sexy texts. Those imaginary wives exist mostly in male fantasies. Understanding this profound difference in daily thought patterns is critical for empathy and managing expectations in a relationship. 9. The value of praise. She loves hearing it, even when she says no. There's an old saying, women love with their ears. And while it might sound cliché, there's a profound truth to it. While men are often said to love with their eyes, meaning they are highly visual, women thrive on affirmation and sweet words. This isn't just for young romantics. Even mature women in their 40s or 50s enjoy receiving compliments. Whether it's a genuine compliment about her outfit or a remark about her looking thinner, hearing praise, even if you're unsure if it's entirely sincere, makes her feel good. The simple act of vocalizing appreciation can spark a positive emotional response. Regardless of age or the depth of the compliment, the misconception arises when she might say things like, "I don't like gifts," or "I don't like being hugged like that." These statements, delivered with a soft, slightly whiny tone and loving eyes, often mean the opposite. Her no can be a yes in disguise, a subtle plea for you to understand her deeper desire for affection and pampering. Women inherently love to feel cherished and understood, often wanting to be a little cat in front of the man they trust. So don't be fooled by a seemingly dismissive comment. Learn to read between the lines and pay attention to her expressions and tone. This nuanced communication requires emotional intelligence on the man's part to interpret her true feelings. Compliments and appreciation are sunshine for her soul. When you thank her or simply acknowledge something she's done, whether it's cleaning the bathroom or trying a new recipe, it fills her love tank. These simple acts of recognition are immensely powerful, signaling that her efforts are seen and valued. Similarly, the 3 little words, "I love you," need to be spoken. Often, even if she already knows it. They are a constant reassurance that fuels her emotional well-being, reinforcing the bond and deepening her sense of security within the relationship. This isn't about flattery for manipulation, but about consistent, genuine affirmation. It's a core psychological need for many women to feel seen, valued, and verbally appreciated. They thrive on hearing how much you care, how good they look, or how much you appreciate their efforts. Neglecting this verbal and emotional nourishment can lead to feelings of being unloved or taken for granted, even if you express love in other ways. Remember, a healthy relationship requires a balance between words and actions, emotions and reason. But ignoring the power of positive words is a misstep many men make, thinking actions alone suffice, thereby missing a crucial way to connect with her heart. 10. The best version of you. Imperfection and growth over a flawless facade. Perhaps the most liberating truth for men is this: women are not looking for you to be perfect. It can feel incredibly challenging to navigate the dating world, constantly trying to figure out what you need to do or how you need to be to get that special young lady. But here's the newsflash: you are never going to be perfect, nor does anyone expect you to be. The relentless pursuit of a flawless image, or trying to create a perfect image of what you think people like, is unsustainable. You simply won't be able to keep it up, and the pressure will eventually break you or the illusion. Women understand imperfection because, frankly, they live with their own. They often have just as many, if not more, insecurities than men do. Naturally, they don't expect you to be perfect when they know they aren't. What they do want is for you to be the best representation of yourself. This means being productive, in decent shape, kind, compassionate, and masculine. Notice, perfect isn't on that list. This is a crucial distinction, highlighting a preference for effort and authenticity over an unattainable ideal. This emphasis on authenticity and continuous improvement, rather than an unattainable ideal, is a recurring theme. True confidence, for example, involves not just focusing on your strengths, but also embracing your flaws. A man who accepts his imperfections and is comfortable in his own skin is far more attractive than one who is constantly striving for an impossible standard. The desire for mystery also ties into this. Women are drawn to a man who is not too easy to read, like a complex book that promises continued discovery, rather than a simplistic narrative. This doesn't mean being fake or manipulative. It means having depth, continuously evolving, and maintaining a sense of self that invites curiosity without being completely transparent from the outset. Ultimately, the goal isn't to become some idealized version of a man, but to consistently strive for self-improvement while remaining true to who you are. When you focus on being the best you can be working on your character, your habits, and your genuine connection with others. You will naturally attract the best lady for you. Stop chasing an illusion of perfection and start embracing the powerful, attractive reality of a man committed to growth, honesty, and being genuinely himself. That's the real endgame, leading to a more authentic and fulfilling partnership. Conclusion. So, there you have it, the surprising, often counterintuitive truths about what women truly desire, starkly different from many entrenched male misconceptions. It's not about the depth of your pockets, the size of your muscles, or fitting into some rigid alpha archetype. Instead, it's about nurturing genuine qualities, stable ambition, authentic self-presentation, keen listening, heartfelt kindness, emotional maturity, practical reliability, inner confidence, awareness of her complex mental world, and a willingness to offer genuine praise. Ultimately, women are seeking a partner who is the best, most evolving version of himself, a real human being, not a perfect facade. By focusing on these core desires, you're not just getting ahead of the curve. You're building the foundation for deeper, more fulfilling connections.